Did you ever notice that when you're triggered or emotionally charged or fired up, you can't really have productive conversations about what happened and you can't make meaning about difficult experiences? This video is going to talk about Dr. Dan Siegel's research and experience with defining the downstairs brain and the upstairs brain. Now, in Dr. Dan Siegel's work, he differentiates the upstairs brain and the downstairs brain. Dr. Siegel has a lot of really great books, and I recommend looking him up. My favorite is The Mindful Brain, and I also really enjoy The Whole Brain Child for more of kind of a parenting direction with the upstairs and downstairs brain. Now, Dr. Siegel talks about the downstairs brain as being the structures of the brain that are focused on keeping you alive, safe, and whole, mostly in a physical way. So there are functions in your brain that are constantly scanning for danger in the environment, in relationships, and even within your internal system when something kind of doesn't feel quite right. So if something in your downstairs brain is flagged that there is danger around you, that you have to be hyper vigilant for your safety, this part of your brain is not going to start to think about, why is this happening? Or how can I repair this relationship? No, the downstairs brain is about survival. So it's going to respond in a method that will help you to survive, whether that's running away, whether it's fighting against whatever is presenting. You might notice that you go into a state of freeze, or you may even kind of go into the fawn behavior, which is collapsing and people pleasing to stay safe and compliant. When we're in the downstairs brain, we cannot have productive conversations. We cannot make meaning out of what is going on. All we can do is react for safety. The upstairs brain is a part of our brain that evolved after the downstairs brain. It's unique to humans, and it allows us to have higher level thinking, meaningful conversations, and understand the complexities and nuance of relationships and experiences. And this is really what makes us unique from animals, because we can have this analytical and abstract thinking capacity because of our upstairs brain. If we get stuck in our downstairs brain, we can't have that higher level thinking about what's going on. So when we're in our downstairs brain, if danger is really not imminent and we start to realize that, oh, maybe I got triggered or I took this experience too far, we have to help ourselves get up into our upstairs brain so that we can make sense of what happened, create repair in our relationships, and make meaning of what we learned so that we can take it with us and potentially not have the same experience again. The best way to move from the downstairs brain to the upstairs brain is to show, not tell, your body that you are safe. As soon as your downstairs brain realizes that you're safe, it won't feel the need to protect you and be so hypervigilant in that moment, and you will have free access to those higher level thinking possibilities, modalities, and strategies that you are capable of as a human being. So when I say sensory cues of safety, this could be feeling something that feels comforting, like a warm temperature, or a texture that soothes you like a soft blanket. It could be a sound or tone of voice that makes you feel safe. It could be the sound of rain or waves. It could be a visual, like looking at a beautiful sunset, looking at certain colors, or even looking at the face of someone you trust. So all of these are sensory experiences. And don't forget, touch is also a sensory experience. So a hug, being close to someone that you feel connected with, can also really help to teach that downstairs brain that it is safe. So using these sensory cues to show your body that danger is not present will help you move into your upstairs brain, where you can then talk about this and you can make meaning and journal and make art about what happened. Now I'll just close out this video with a real life example of how this showed up in my life with my 6-year-old daughter. I want you to know that this does work when working with children, but this also is effective in your own work or when working in relationships with adults as well, because our brains are all the same, no matter how old we are. So, in my experience with my daughter, she was in the middle of a tantrum. She was really dysregulated and upset. I don't remember what happened, but to her little brain, it was a big deal. She was crying. She was screaming. She didn't want to be in any kind of conversation that was talking about what happened. She was just really upset. So I understood that her brain was stuck in downstairs mode. She was reacting and she couldn't respond to my questions. So rather than engaging that, trying to make her talk to me, fighting against her, or yelling back at her, I softened and I offered her physical touch, which I know is a sensory cue that she prefers. So I brought her into a hug, I rubbed her back, and I offered her the warmth of connection. My breathing deeply helped regulate her breathing because we co regulate with one another, which means that we can use our own sense of groundedness to help ground another person. Our nervous systems actually react to the people who we are in contact with and can mirror their states. So, as I was holding my daughter, I was breathing rhythmically and I was making soothing comments like, "It's okay, I'm here." Then I knew she was moving into her upstairs brain when she let out a sigh. A lot of times when we're crying or upset, there's a moment where we switch gears from that reactive place of hypervigilance and safety to a more responsive place of being able to allow and receive. So when I felt my daughter sigh, I knew that she was moving out of her survival state. So as soon as her crying stopped and she started to get more grounded, I could then look her in the eyes and I could talk to her from upstairs brain to upstairs brain. And I could say, "What happened? Why did you get so upset?" And she could talk to me from that state because she was regulated. So it's really important that we remember when we're in our downstairs brain, we can only react. We can't respond. We can't connect. We can't think rationally. It's important that we honor our safety mechanisms, and it's also important that we notice when ourselves and others are acting from those safety mechanisms when really there is no imminent danger, and then actively climbing the stairs to our upstairs brain so that we can process what went on through teaching our body with sensory cues that we are safe. Now, if you have questions about this, please feel free to drop a line in the comments and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. These brain sciences can sometimes get a bit complicated, but I do like Dr. Dan Siegel's perspective of the upstairs and the downstairs brain to kind of simplify it. So I look forward to hearing from you and I'll see you next time.